It was like any other assembly. Students queued up in their tutor groups ready to enter the auditorium. They are spot checked by their tutors, ensuring that everything is exactly as expected. The checks included having students in alphabetical order, wearing full uniform. Girls' skirts needed to be the correct length, and boys needed to be wearing the right color socks. Ties properly done, top buttons and shirts done up, and girls and boys whose hair were beyond shoulder length had it tied back. The head of year then followed through with their final control checks. Only then can students be guided into the auditorium. Tutors were efficient at getting through the tedious process, and before long it was finished, and they started to enter the auditorium. Students sat waiting, some chit-chatting in spite of the background music, as they await their peers' arrival. When the last group entered, the head of year closed the door, indicating to the principal it was time to take the stage. The principal, who was sitting, stood up and the music stopped. She said her formal greetings to the group and started her oration as she clicked through her presentation. From time to time, she used some anecdotes and personal stories to convey her message. There were a few groups of students trying to communicate and tutors busy silencing them. Although here and there were a few other unchallenged mutterings, they too soon dissipate. Towards the back of the auditorium, a child giggled and whispered something as the next slide rolled on screen. Looking rather irritated, the principal yelled Tom's name. Tom is usually quiet and well-mannered, who was probably intrigued by something he saw or heard. "Stop that talking this instant," she commanded. Tom was himself shocked and had done exactly as directed. However, that was not the end of the reprimand. From the platform, aided by the microphone, came the harsh, condemning, and piercing statements. "Stupid child, such an idiot." A ripple of deathly silence fell upon the room. Those conclusive words of authority, made by someone in such a position, left both students and teachers dumbfounded. Tom sank his body down into the chair, waiting for the ground to open and swallow him. Teachers looked shocked at each other, quizzically and disappointed. They were in total disbelief. Some students were clearly showcasing an equal disappointment on their faces as they scanned the room, hoping that one of the teachers would address the obvious injustice. The principal did not miss a breath. She continued on through her slides as though it was only another day at the office. Such condemnation should never be used by people in those capacity, especially if they are someone whose opinions students may actually value. Though Tom's behavior might have disrupted a little, he certainly didn't deserve such toxic bile from someone who should know better. They all knew Tom was not the kind of student to fight back, and true to form, he never did. After the assembly, nothing more was ever heard of the incident in an official capacity. Tom will, nevertheless, live with the memory and will need to determine how much impact that experience has on his future. It says more about a person from the way they treat others than it says about those on the receiving end. A psychologically sound individual would never seek to belittle, degrade, or dehumanize another person. Such behaviors are perpetrated by wussies hiding behind titles. It is both unjustifiable and inexcusable.